Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar where we're just going to talk about food, something we all love, okay? And to relax, because by now you know that as long as you're eating enough calories for your basic daily needs, whether that is 1,800 calories or 2,000 or 2,200 calories, whatever it is, as long as you're eating enough calories per day, you are having enough protein. You're probably going a little bit over the recommended amount, which is somewhere between 40 and 50, maybe 60 grams per day, okay, depending on whether you're male or female. All right. And yesterday, just to do a quick recap, we learned that just because something is good does not mean that more of it is better. Sometimes it is, but it's not with fat, it's not with sodium, it's not with sunlight, it's not with protein. Protein, after you have had what you need, what your body needs, which is very little per day, then the body has to dispose of it. And pretty much the only way to do it is through the kidneys, is to work those kidneys to death. Okay, and all that protein comes out in urine. If the urine has a strong smell, it's probably because there's a lot of protein coming out. If that goes on for a long time, month after month and year after year, that could land you in the dialysis unit. And we don't want that. Okay, we're not going to talk too much about the protein topic, because last night that was the main topic. So if you want to see that webinar with updated information about protein requirements and sources of protein, please go to my YouTube channel, plantemas.com. I mean, that's the website. I'm sorry, the YouTube's just Plantemas, Plantemus, and you can watch that. I will also link it later on in the description area of this video. So let's have some fun here. And I welcome your ideas or comments about some of your favorite foods. What I do on a daily basis, when I teach, what we do in our 7-day live program is concentrate on whole foods. Whole foods mean that you haven't taken fiber out and you haven't taken water out. Once you take fiber or water out, then it becomes processed. The more water you take out and the more fiber you take out, the more processed the food gets. The less fiber and water something has, the more calories that is concentrated. The body doesn't really know what to do with ultra processed foods. And so it overruns certain circuits that our brains and our stomachs have to tell us that we've had enough calories. And because our bodies are not made for ultra processed foods, that is messed up. And people end up with overweight and a lot of health problems. So here we go. Let me share my screen here. And I had fun putting together this show here. I literally have thousands of pictures of food that I've taken pictures of for 11 years, and I have pictures of people that, I mean, the food that people send me. And so this is just a short, presentation. We're not going to be looking at hundreds or thousands of photos, but just looking at something like that, for example, brown rice or quinoa. I don't know if you know this. Quinoa is a magic food, truly. It has so many benefits that I encourage you to take a look at it, to mix it with your oatmeal, to put it in salads, to put it in wraps, to put it in drinks. I mean, it's an incredible food. Okay, so let's get started. Where is the protein? Okay, we all know by now that we do not need to ever again worry about do I eat, do I consume enough protein a day, or where it's coming from, because it's everywhere. Okay, pretty much it's everywhere. So if you have smoothies, which I don't recommend that you have them too much, you can have them from time to time as a fun thing. But remember, once the fiber is broken down, you don't have the shield to protect you. And if the smoothie has fruit, then all of that simple sugar is going to skyrocket. It's going to give you a sugar spike, and that's not good for your internal organs. That is why fiber is inside the food. We're not supposed to break it up in a million little pieces. But like I said, smoothies are okay. They're not unhealthy. Just that we've got to concentrate on eating most of our food that we eat every day as a whole food, not as a broken down food. So look at this here. If you add any of these, this is just 3 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. Look at that. Chia, flax, hemp, peanuts, cashews, almonds, everything has protein. Okay, so that starts to add up. When we start to add up, well, we put, any of these seeds or nuts and the rice and the beans and the fruits and the vegetables, we easily get to 50, 60 grams of protein a day, and that's all we really need. Actually, studies have consistently shown that as little as 30 or 40 is still plenty for most of us who may not be athletes or have some kind of very very unusual illness. Okay, so there it is. Look at this here. Legumes. Do you know what 100 grams is? 100 grams is less than half a cup. It's not much. So this is cooked. Let's say that you cooked some chickpeas last night or today, and you're going to have half a cup, or actually a little bit less than half a cup. That's not much. Well, that has already 7 grams of protein. Again, this adds up. If you had a whole cup, you would be having probably 16, 17 grams of protein with just 1 cup. That's why many doctors recommend that we limit the consumption of cooked beans to a cup a day. Not that if one day you go over, you're going to die. That's not the point. But we're trying to not overload our system with protein. Plant protein is better, doesn't have cholesterol, hormones, antibiotics, fat, etc., saturated fat, but still is protein. We don't want to overload our kidneys with too much protein on a daily basis. So here are the nuts and seeds. 30 grams is very little. It's 1 ounce. 1.06. I mean, very little. And look at the amount of protein that you're getting with just 1 ounce. Again, it's quite a lot. All right. What about vegetables? Well, 100 grams of raw vegetables in general, this is what they have. 100 grams is only 3.5 ounces. It's very little. And if you're having, I don't know, let's say that you have an asparagus. Well, that very little bit you're eating is a little bit over 2 grams of fat. Brussels sprouts, which I had today for lunch, is almost 3.5 grams of protein. Okay, so everything has protein in it. What about milk alternatives? 1 cup of any of these milk. I've never been a milk drinker, but I mean, sometimes I add a little bit in my tea or my coffee substitute, or I may, sometimes I may make, I don't know, something that I bake. Very seldom, but I may, okay, and I use it. So let's look at some of these here. 1 cup of almond milk, which is what I usually make. I like to make my own. That way I know that it has almonds and water. Look at the package, look at the box or the bottle when you buy almond milk or any plant milk. Some of them have a long list of ingredients that shouldn't be there. Okay, some of them have sodium added, some of them have oil added. So watch out. Okay, this is very easy to make. Almond milk has only 36 calories per cup. It has 1.5 grams of protein, and it has 2.6 grams of fat, right? Oat milk is the one that has the most calories, okay, 130 calories per cup. It has 4.7 grams of protein. Okay, so they all have protein. Which one has the least amount of protein? The rice milk, which after the almond milk is the one that I prefer. Actually, the one that has the least calorie, well, I'm mixing. Okay, the least calories is the cashew milk. Also, quite a little protein. The rice has 52 calories with 0.3 grams of protein. Cow milk has basically 100 calories per cup, and it has the most protein, and it has casein, which is an element that causes cancer. You can research it for yourself. And it has many other elements that we don't want to put in our bodies. Okay, so that's milk. Let's look at some of the food here. Oh, look at that. Eating whole food, plant-based, is beautiful, delicious. You can have fruit. Today, I made a fruit salad, which every now and then I like to make. And there you can have oatmeal with fruit. Oatmeal with fruit is absolutely delicious. Always try to put some berries. And please make sure that you turn off your microphone. That way the recording is clean, please. Okay, add some berries for the antioxidants that we need to protect our bodies and ourselves and our brain. All right, this is one that I made. And again, this is oat groats. Okay, oat groats are great. It's oats, but it's the oat as it comes out of the plant without being cut or sliced or anything. And it looks like rice. It's a great source of fiber and, of course, water, because it absorbs a lot of water. All right. Something that I have every now and then, I like to have pumpernickel bread, one of the healthiest, or Ezekiel bread, or real whole wheat bread. Make one or two pieces of toast, put a little bit of avocado, and then put cherry tomatoes, carrots. Sometimes I put sliced cucumbers or arugula. Sometimes I don't put the avocado and I put hummus. It's a delicious breakfast, easy to make. What about salads? Well, salads are water, 98% water. So it's another way to drink water. Uh, Salads made with lettuce, salads made with massaged kale, like the one to the left, salad made with a lot of different types of greens, especially cabbage. Cabbage has, like 100 times more nutrients than just lettuce. So it's a really good thing to include in your salads. Steamed vegetables. It's something that I have almost. I mean, I'm not going to say every day, but almost every day. And what do we put? We try not to use oil because oil is the most calorically dense food on the planet with 4,000 calories per pound. So we try to not use it. Besides, it damages the endothelium, which is the inside of our arteries, and it creates some issues, especially if it is heated. So I love to just use lemon juice or lime juice or balsamic vinegar, and it just makes it delicious. And whenever I can, because I'm not a grilling type of person, I don't like to turn on the grill, but sometimes if I go somewhere and they're grilling, I love to take my veggies and have them grill on this special mat that I have to put on the grill so that they don't get stuck and I don't have to use oil, okay? All right, potatoes. Who doesn't like potatoes? I love potatoes. That's how I lost over 70 pounds in a very, very easy and fast way is eating potatoes. Potatoes will make you lose weight. What makes people gain weight is what they put on the potato. Of course, if you put on starch, butter and cheese or cream cheese or oil or meat, of course you're going to gain weight. But it's not the potato, it's what you put on the potato. So right here we have gnocchi, which is a type of Italian pasta made almost entirely with potatoes, and that's my marinara sauce. It's absolutely divine. These are the crunchy potato balls that I make. They are baked. They're very crunchy on the outside and they're creamy on the inside. Most of these recipes are in my book, Live Your Healthiest Life. And if you haven't gotten it, you need to get it, okay? Please help Shada and I to continue making free videos for you and free cooking demos. It's a very reasonably priced at $20. And the bonus has ended for those of you who are going to purchase the book. If you send an email, and I'll tell you where, you're going to get a PDF with a bonus of some of the best rice recipes and desserts. Okay, right here we have the empanadas, the Argentine empanadas, that they are filled inside with this delicious filling of vegetables, sauteed. And these are usually made with, the crust is made with flaky dough. But this took a long time, but finally I was able to make the dough using potatoes. So the dough is made with potatoes and then it's baked. Okay, more potatoes. This is my famous potato supreme here. Basically, you get a big pot and you start making layers. It's fun. You make layers of onion, potatoes, onion, potatoes, garlic, and red peppers, and potatoes. And you make as many layers as you want. The little secret is that the onions and the potatoes have to be sliced thick. They cannot be sliced thin, or you will end up with mashed potatoes. Okay, so, and then at the very end, you need to cover the whole thing with a lot, and I mean a lot of chopped parsley. It's a very simple recipe that cooks on the stove or in a pressure cooker very fast, and it uses very little or no, very little water, and it's just delicious. This is my potato salad that has 3 ingredients only: potatoes, carrots, and peas. This is what my dear grandma Aurora used to make. And instead of putting mayonnaise, which you could buy vegan mayonnaise, but it's going to have oil. And we're trying to avoid that high calorie element. So I usually put apple vinegar or rice vinegar or lime juice or some kind of balsamic vinegar. And then I chop a little bit of scallion or something like that. Okay. In just a minute, when I finish showing these pictures, you can ask me any questions you want to ask. One of my favorite breakfasts is hash browns. Sometimes they're shredded, but sometimes they're like this one here, where they're, in little cubes with red bell peppers and some zucchini and onions, and I love that. I can eat that for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And then my other favorite meal is mashed potatoes, but the secret is that you're going to add some butternut squash, both of them cooking at the same time. The butternut squash is just so magical what it does. Well, first of all, it adds a little bit of sweetness to the sweet potatoes. And second of all, it makes your sweet potato very creamy. You don't need to use anything other than make sure you take all of the water out. Don't use a lot of, just use enough water to cook them, but not too much, because then your nutrients are going to go out with the water. Okay. So use enough water to cook them or steam them, and then take the water out, save it, and start mashing it without water. Only add little bits of water as you're mashing it to get the creaminess that you want. The other thing that you see next to the sweet potato is another very popular, I guess I don't even want to call it recipe, because it's not a recipe, it's a combination thing. It's my green mixture. My green mixture always starts with garlic and onion being sauteed on a pan, chopped or sliced. That's how it starts. And I use a little bit of water as needed, but I let it caramelize a little bit. And if I don't have time, I just let it get soft. And then I add my greens of the day. The greens could be Swiss chard, it could be kale, it could be spinach, it could be, usually those 3, but it could be broccoli, it could be Brussels sprouts, it could be something like that. And then you add a few spices or herbs, and that's your green mixture that you're going to eat, hopefully, at least 3 times a day, a little bit. You don't have to eat huge amounts, about the size of your fist, okay? All right. Here is a good idea. Of course, baked potatoes and baked sweet potatoes are delicious, even just by themselves. But this is a good idea for a snack or even a dessert. You bake your sweet potatoes, and then you put slices of bananas, or maybe you want to throw in some blueberries there. And if you have some delicious chocolate balsamic vinegar, chocolate flavored balsamic vinegar, like the ones they sell, the California balsamic sells, you can drizzle some of that. And that's just an amazing dessert. Okay. Rice, if you're a rice lover, try to go with the brown rice because it has so much fiber, and fiber and water create bulk, and bulk creates satiety. And so our stomachs are happy, we feel satisfied. But it's okay to use other, white rice or basmati rice or any other rice you want. Rice and beans and some cilantro and salsa is just great. You could even chop some tomatoes and lettuce and put on top or under it, and you've got a perfect meal. You can make large amounts of rice and beans and then freeze them for later in little freezer bags. Okay, more rice. This is my grandmother's rice. My grandmother was from Spain, and this is the Valencian rice that is also included in the book here. And the other ones are just combinations, easy combination, chickpeas and rice with some tomato sauce. You can just saute vegetables and eat it with the rice. It's just delicious. Okay, salads, more salad. That's my really, really good kale-licious salad, which is also in the book. And it has kale and other ingredients. And who doesn't like a good wrap? Whether it is with just vegetables or this one with sauteed vegetables, rice, beans, delicious. I also love soups and stews. This is a soup that has white beans and carrots and corn. It is very creamy and delicious. And I believe this is my lentil stew. And of course, the baked polenta has to be here because that's one of my most famous recipes. Thanks to my grandmother, Aurora, who used to make this all throughout my childhood. While I tell you the story of my childhood in the book, then you get the recipe of this baked polenta. Basically, you cook the polenta, which cooks very fast. It absorbs a lot of water. And then you make layers of marinara sauce. That's the secret. You've got to make a really good one or buy a good one. And marinara sauce and polenta, and then more sauce and polenta or sauce and the green mixture that you just saw. And you make layers, maybe 3 layers or so, and then you end up with some tomato sauce on it. Then when you take it out, that little white thing you see there, that's an odd Parmesan cheese that is nutritional yeast, but you don't have to use it. You can just eat it like that. It is one of the most delicious meals you'll ever eat. I like to always serve it with a side of greens because we always want to have greens for the nitric oxide that they produce that actually heals and reverts the damage in our arteries. And because of our past eating, we all have some kind of damage, and it can be reverted, as you can see in Dr. Esselstyn's research that has been published in medical books and medical magazines. And so that is important to always include some greens with your meals. Okay, I love these, although I don't make them very often because nowadays my eating is kind of on the real simple side. But from time to time, I can make some of these things. One of them to the right is polenta that you just put on a platter if you want to make it look pretty. Otherwise, you just put it on your bowl. And then you saute stuff, okay? Garlic, onions, red bell peppers, zucchini, spinach or kale or chard, tomatoes, and that beautiful, delicious saute. You spread it on the polenta, and then you just scoop it out and serve it, and squeeze some fresh lemon juice. A very filling breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And the other one is a sort of a quiche that has potatoes, and to replace the egg, we use a mixture of plant milk and some condiments, and also we use chickpeas. That is also in the book. A lot of these recipes, not all, are there in the book. And a lot of these recipes are in my YouTube channel. So make sure that you go. They're free. They're right there for you. Okay. All right. My lasagna, which I made yesterday. Oh my goodness. This lasagna is, it can fool anyone. It's so delicious. You really don't miss the meat. You don't miss the cheese. You can use rice noodles. You can use brown, you can use whole wheat flour noodles. You could use any other type of healthier noodles, or you could use eggplant instead of noodles and make layers. But as I usually say with pasta, whether it's gnocchi or spaghetti, or in this case, lasagna, the secret is in the sauce. And I do have in my YouTube channel some recipes for sauce, and then I have one here. Okay, so that's lasagna. The point I want to make here is that we can eat a whole food plant-based diet that is absolutely delicious, and that anybody will get used pretty quickly. That thing on top that looks like mozzarella cheese is not, obviously. Guess what that is? That's shredded cauliflower. Okay. And believe it or not, because it looks like cheese, the brain can trick us, and it actually kind of tastes like cheese. But if you want a little bit of cheese taste, then you can sprinkle a little bit of nutritional yeast as well. And yes, we can even have cakes. We who eat whole food plant-based, we can have desserts. That's a type of brownie that is made with sweet potatoes. The other one is an apple pineapple cake. And these are also here in my book that I hope that you will get, or that you, if you already have it, that you will try these cakes. Do I make these often? No, I don't, because I look at that and I've already gained weight. Okay, so I gain weight easily. So of course I don't want to ever gain my 75 pounds back. So I try not to make these things, because I can eat the whole thing. So when I make it is when I go somewhere like a potluck or a party or something, or if I have people over and I make them. And because I just, it's too tempting to have it around. Oh, and this one, which is my grandmother's, again, my grandmother Aurora, it's here. That's the polenta creamy apple, caramelized apple cake. You will not believe that that it actually comes out like so creamy. And of course, it used, when my grandmother made, used real whole milk. And after trying it several times and not being successful, finally I found the right amounts and combinations. And using plant milk, I came up with the same result. If you like bread like I do, because that's my weakness in life, bread, and I gain weight when I eat bread. So I've learned to make lentil bread, and that's to the left, and I learned to make chickpea bread. I don't make it very often anymore because I'm busy and I'm kind of a little, just takes time. But it really doesn't take a lot of time. You let the lentils or the chickpeas soak during the night, and it's a very easy recipe that does not have one drop of flour. So I believe that I have this in my YouTube channel, and if it's not, then it's going to be very soon. Okay, so be looking out for it. Right. And do you love pizza like I do? Yes. I mean, you can have pizza. In my YouTube channel, you will find a video where I make pizza dough using potato. And it came out way better than I thought. And then there is a pizza dough made with polenta. They're both different, but they're both delicious. And then it's up to your imagination what you want to put on it. Putting on it sun-dried tomatoes, for example, make it gives it the texture and almost the flavor of like pepperoni. But you can put all sorts of things. You can saute things ahead of time. You can, if you want to splurge, you can put some black olives and just really is up to you what you can come up to put on top of the pizzas. I love to do stuffed zucchini and stuffed eggplants and stuffed peppers and stuffed pears and stuffed apples and stuffed tomatoes. Okay, a lot of these are in my YouTube channel again. And I use quinoa, I use other grains to do the filling, I use rice. But what I do is I like to play with the condiments, with the herbs and other things, and like to saute that first, and then that goes in the oven. Okay, so eating whole foods and plant-based is delicious and satisfying, and I want to encourage you. I really do. If you're watching this and you kind of eating some meat or a lot of it, why don't you just give it a try? Almost all of us, I believe, can do anything for 1 week. I mean, it's just 1 week. We could even not eat for a week. I mean, we're not going to die. I'm not saying that you should, but we can do almost anything for just 1 week. So give it a try. You will see for yourself how the body starts to heal itself. And I do have the 7-day program. It's 1 week of getting together as a group, having fun, learning to make many of those simple meals together, eating them, asking questions, and having group support, which is the key ingredient in succeeding. If you want to join the 7-day program, go to my website, plantemas.com. It is there. I always hate it when money is a problem. Okay, and so if that is the only issue that is preventing you from participating in this upcoming program that starts next Monday, September 23rd, send me an email, and I usually, I like to help as much as possible. So I'm reading here some comments, and if you want to type anything here or now, if you'd like to unmute and ask questions, just remember that it's being recorded if you don't want to voice record it. Okay. So what tortilla brand do you prefer and favorite filling? Oh, well, the tortilla, it's not so much the brand, but it needs to be corn tortilla for me. And since I travel a lot, and now I live in 2 different realities at the same time, almost, because I spend time in Argentina and in the US. When I'm in Argentina, I have no access, 0 access to tortillas, to corn tortillas. I mean, flour I do, but I don't use those. Unless I made them, which I don't, then I just don't have them. But when I have tortillas, I like the corn tortillas. And favorite filling, I don't have one. What I like to do, almost every recipe of mine starts with an onion, which I've said before, and Chef AJ has said before. That could be a fun title for a book. everything starts with an onion. Okay, so I just like to saute and caramelize an onion, and in my case, garlic, because I love garlic. And then after that, it's many times what I just have that day, but it can be corn and beans or corn and rice. And of course, I have to put other things like red bell peppers or zucchini. I just play with it, have fun. One day, use certain amount of, certain things like cumin or smoked paprika, things like that. And then another day, try something different. How do you make your almond milk? Oh, yeah. The almond milk is so easy. I just put in a high-speed blender 1 cup of 1 cup of almonds, which I personally, and 3 cups of water. That's the ratio that I like it. But you can play with it also. If you find it that it's a little too rich and thick, then put 4 cups of water or 3.5. If you want it to make it more like creamy, like to put in coffee or something, or like that, then put a little bit less. But that's what it is. 1 cup of almonds, 3 cups of water. I like to have them soak a little bit. I like the idea that they're soaked in water, and then I just blend it, and I have that those bags that are used. You can buy them in grocery stores that are used for making this type of milk, or just a cheesecloth. So that's how I make it. You can sometimes add a little bit of cinnamon or anything if you want it to have flavor. Wonderful. It's simple. This is doable. We just have to be prepared. We've got to have fruits and vegetables and grains in our house so that we can make these meals and not feel like, oh, I don't have anything. I'm going to go out and get some highly processed, meal. And always make more than what you think you're going to eat. That's my other rule. Always make way more, sometimes even double a recipe, so that you can have leftovers in your refrigerator or in your freezer. It's a great way to make this work. So thank you for coming. Have a wonderful end of the day and enjoy some delicious whole food and plant-based dinner. Okay.